Okay, hey guys, this is the APT Clear podcast back again, and today we're going to talk about that's QD. Today we're going to talk about episode 3 and some more Battlefront stuff. So let's get into it.
So before that, last podcast for those of you guys who listened, we reviewed episode 7 because we went and saw it at midnight the day on the premiere night, and APT Clear did not enjoy it, and he thought it was a disgrace to the Star Wars.
Okay, I didn't say that.
Movies. Okay, you felt it.
I didn't. I didn't say that.
He went and saw it again with the other day, and now he has some new thoughts. So before we get into the meat of our discussion, APT Clear, can you please describe to us your new experience?
Yeah, sure, fine. Okay, it was better.
Okay, a lot better.
Fair enough. It was more entertaining, I suppose, when you're not worrying about the plot too much. I don't know. It was more entertaining.
Would you say it was better than any of the other Star Wars films?
I don't know. I haven't watched anyone but episode 3 in a while. I need to watch them again. But it was like, I'm not saying like, it's not that you don't notice like the flaws. It's that you don't care, I guess,
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
But yeah, it was better. That's pretty much about it.
To enjoy it.
Yeah, go ahead, brag and gloat that, I came over to your side finally.
Exactly. That, which is my side, is that it was a good movie, but the rest of the films were better. So
I think I could still agree with that.
Yeah. So now we can move on. So
I can get into it.
Clear said, first thing we're gonna do today is we're gonna be doing over the next 6 films. We plan on doing like Force a Life.
Oh, what did you just call it?
Star Wars a Life.
What?
I don't know. But we're gonna be describing. We're gonna be walking through. We're gonna spend time each podcast talking about
each movie.
One of the 6 films. Each movie.
For each 6 weeks.
Yeah. For the next 6 weeks. So.
But we'll just talk through it if we like it.
Because APT Clear is behind. We're gonna start with episode 3.
Okay. Well, because that was the one we were
5, 6.
We were talking about that, like, well, not in the podcast, but on our own time. So I watched that one. I watched while playing some Battlefront.
Yeah, so we're just gonna keep refreshing on them, but we've each watched 3 recently, so that's the one we're gonna start with, and I think we'll go 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Probably.
Well,
or
do you want to?
2's kind of a lame one to end on.
2's I don't like 2. Let's just do like 3, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
All right. Well, either way, we're gonna go through all of them. So.
Because I think one flows better into 2, than 2 flows better into 3.
Yeah. So.
What was that? What was that? What I hear you say there?
No, my mom was talking.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so we'll start with episode 3. Yeah, so do you want to give the plot overview?
Well, I guess most of you guys, if you're watching this, you've probably seen it. So it's pretty much the fall of well, it's not really the old Republic, but like the Republic that's in episodes 1, 2, and 3. It's where Anakin finally goes to the dark side. In the end of the movie, he becomes Darth Vader. I don't know if it addresses that the clones become the stormtroopers, but that's kind of implied. Padme dies, gives birth to Luke and Leia. Order 66. Most of the Jedi die. It's pretty much it. I mean, there's in the overall story. I guess there's Grievous, but he's not
catastrophic.
Okay, one thing I do have to say is that for episode 3, so I was at Best Buy, okay, and okay, I was looking at the they had these Star Wars DVDs on display because episode 7, and they had they had these tin ones like they're like metal cases for every episode, and the episode 3 one had Grievous on the front of it, and it looked pretty sick. That's pretty much about it. But okay, yeah. So that's the general plot,
Episode 3. Well, let's start off with, was it even a good movie? This one came out about when I was in like 2nd grade.
I think
so.
2005.
Yeah. Do you want to double check that on the laptop?
Yeah, give me a sec.
It came out a while ago. I was in 2nd grade. I remember going to see it. much in.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
No idea. Okay, I was a little kid.
It was 2005. Yeah, it was 2005.
Yeah. All right. Good. No idea why I chose to dress up as him. He wasn't even in the movie, but I thought he was the coolest at the time. So
Liam Neeson's pretty cool.
I mean, it was received well by the critics, relatively.
Is it really? I can look up.
Yeah.
It's like I'll look up the.
I believe it got it got in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe.
Star Wars.
And yeah, it's called Revenge of the Sith. So APT Clear said, it's kind of the end all be all of Star Wars.
It got a 7.7 on IMDb and a 79% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. But still pretty high. I mean, I guarantee episode 1 was not that high.
Yeah. Well, personally, I feel like episode 3, I liked it. I thought it was probably the best of the Star Wars films. I think it deserves definitely more than 79%. I've kind of referenced this in the first podcast we put out. I think that episode 3, it's like a great dramatic irony. For those of you, it's like dramatic irony is, something bad's gonna happen, but even though you know it, and so that's what makes it even more painful to watch. Shakespeare was like famous.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Romeo
It's like
the
Greek tragedies too.
Right, Romeo and Juliet. You know that they both die in the end before you even read the story, but it's tragic. It makes it even more tragic to watch it unfold. Is the ideology behind it because. They have such a great relationship and everything's going well, but the entire time that all that is just going to fail. And I feel like that was the case with episode 3. You have Anakin, who is pretty promising as a guy.
I'm sorry, Master.
Sorry, Master. It's a whiny boy, but he's no wonder that's where Luke gets it from. But quick commentary on Luke. So I was watching New Hope the other day.
Yeah.
And Alright, I was talking to you about this.
Yes.
This is such a tangent from what we're talking about, but
it doesn't matter.
So Luke, Ben, as you guys probably know, Vader,
like Ben Kenobi,
kills Ben in front of Luke because Luke looks and sees it happening, and Luke's like, no! He's like screaming about it. He's like really upset. They get on the ship. He's like, ugh! He's like, he just sees his like friend cut down, I suppose, and then. They're on the ship. Leia comes over to put a blanket on him. He's like, can't believe he's gone. He's looking at some wine. And then, all of a sudden, the TIE fighters start coming in. Han's like, Luke, we got to get the TIE fighters going. Luke, within 10 seconds, is, completely fine again, ready to go.
Yeah, Luke.
He goes from, it's ridiculous if you watch it. That's my biggest complaint about episode 4. Just watch the movie again to understand what I'm talking about. Luke goes from this completely depressed character to being like, yeah, I got one. When he's shooting on the time, but the switch is just crazy. And then,
well, Luke's acting in general. I mean, what else is Luke? What else is Luke saying? I want to go to Tashi to pick up some power converters.
Yeah, he's just his acting is just so.
It's funny. Well, because people make fun of episode 1, and pretty much Anakin in every episode for being not good at acting. But I mean, you look at Luke, and Luke's not.
He's pretty bad too. Father like son. But okay, anyway, back to
episode 3.
Yeah, so I think because they had all that dramatic irony going. Anakin had a lot going for him. He was supposed to destroy the Sith. The Republic, they're fighting this war, and the entire time you pretty much know you don't know how it's gonna unfold.
But
it's gonna fail.
Well, you don't know they're necessarily gonna lose, but someone's gonna. I think.
I mean, you can infer it because they're pretty much non-existent in that 4.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Either
way, the Jedi are basically gonna be wiped out. And it's hard to watch because Anakin, you're he's annoying, but at the same time you're rooting for him.
Okay, no, you're not rooting for him.
Yeah, you are. Okay,
Anakin. Okay, I'll give you this.
You don't want him and Obi-Wan to remain friends, and you don't want him to take down the dark side.
Okay.
You do. Everyone does.
You know that Anakin is going to turn evil. I'll give you that. And it is interesting watching him turn evil, but just some of the stuff I just find it's so painful to watch, Like, it's like you're such an idiot. Like, to Anakin, not you, but like
No.
some of the parts, like some of it I can understand. Like, he's turning evil, like when he kills all the children and stuff like, or the implied. I guess they don't really show it, but that stuff. Like, yeah, I can get that. It's the parts when he's the one part when he's like fighting Obi-Wan. He's like, if you're not with me, then you're against me. Like that part, and just the part
Donald
where
Trump.
Donald Trump 2016, man, the Muslim vote for the Muslim Index.
Yes.
What else for Anakin? There was one other thing. Oh, Mace. When he was, well, I guess he wasn't really supposed to save Mace, but when he was trying to save Mace, when Mace was getting killed by Palpatine, and when Mace was like, "Help me," like that part was just like, I don't know. I do agree. It's a good movie overall. I like the action. The action's fun. I think
The action is good. It's very good.
it's more like you don't watch it for the action though. I'd say like you watch it more for the plot.
That's what I'm saying though. Like the thing I like about episode 3 is, like even when, because we all know that episode 3 is gonna get dated eventually. You can tell it's starting to get dated, even though it still looks fairly good, but it's not like anything great by any means in terms of CGI.
I mean, yeah, it's got that like if you watch episode 2 suffering from it, like I haven't seen episode 2 in a while, but I was watching some clips from it. The scene like when they're in the Jedi Temple, like in the big halls and some of it just looks really fake, like it's got this almost like glowing quality to it, where it looks like it's glowing almost.
Yeah, no, plastic.
Yeah, it just looks good.
But at the same time,
yeah.
I do think that episode 3 will stand the test of time because
The plot.
Because of the plot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying with about the dramatic. I mean, I don't like Anakin all that much, but at the same time, I wasn't like, oh, I hope he turns bad. I wanted him to still succeed. I mean, I think that's just like human nature almost. To even if you don't like a person, if they're on the good side, you don't want something to like horrible to happen to someone.
Oh, by your standards, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all perception, I guess. But like you said, I mean, as humans, when we see like Romeo and Juliet, God, I hated listening to both of them talk. But at the same time, I didn't want either of them to die, and I was hoping that wouldn't happen, even though I knew it would. And I think the same thing's here with Anakin, and why people connect with him is it's not like I'm like, yeah, Anakin's my favorite character. He's obnoxious. He's a terrible father and a terrible husband. But like, I still don't want him. I still don't want the worst for him, and I don't want the worst for everything in the galaxy, because I know with him turning bad, it's not only like, oh, Anakin's a threat now. It affects every single character in the story.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a huge turning point. When he turns bad, it's almost like the universe goes dark. You know what I mean?
Okay, I don't know if I'd put it that way.
I mean, the Empire takes control. The Republic's completely shellacked.
The Republic. I love the Republic.
Yeah, I mean, so.
Okay,
yeah,
the one weakness.
I think it's the best. I think the plot is strong and it's emotional and.
Okay, I'll give it is good. There are some stuff that I didn't like about it though. My first I guess complaint would be that it gives us a lot to care about without much of a reason to care about it. Okay.
Episode 3?
Yes. I like Anakin and Padme. I can understand it because you've seen the relationship throughout the whole thing. But part of like when it shows all the Jedi getting like killed, you know what I'm talking about. Like it shows like Ki-Adi Mundi, Plo Koon like crashing, Aayla Secura, Eddie Gallia. Like someone who doesn't know their names and has no idea of who they are, like why would they care about that? Like yeah, like it's the Jedi that we've known, but in the movie doesn't give us much of a reason to care about them,
Well,
like the extended universe does, but
response to that is
what's your response? Come on.
Well, first off, like Mace
Hit me.
is obviously one that we care about losing because he's been a more major role.
Okay, no. You just like Mace. That's it.
People know Mace and people like him.
No, you like Mace. No, he's not.
Okay, this body's over. He's been locked up.
No, he's cool.
If you watch the Clone Wars series, you will see the original one, the TV series. You will see why he's such a tank. But either way.
Okay, dark.
No, but I think the point of the Jedi dying in the movie isn't to be like, oh, like why would anyone care? It's Plo Koon. I they're killing off all the main characters. I think the point of it is Star Wars, the Jedi are kind of supposed to stand as the good, the light.
Yeah, like, well, making
And
sure that the dark doesn't get
they're all
too
getting
big.
killed, and like when the younglings are getting wiped out, I don't think it's as much about as, oh, my favorite character just died, as it's the fall of the good in the galaxy and the rise of evil.
Yeah, fair enough,
and, like,
fair enough.
The destruction of democracy, the destruction of love and happiness.
Okay, well, you've rebutted that. Let me come with my next point. One other thing that I don't like too much was some of the plot points, especially in the beginning. Okay. The movie, I feel, is one that's good to watch, like, for a first time, you know? Like, just sometimes, like Grievous, okay, for example. Grievous's death does not add anything to the plot of the story. It doesn't. He doesn't affect it. Whether he died or not, the clones would turn evil, you know? Like, in a way, like okay, like the point of Obi-Wan killing Grievous, because you know Obi-Wan was gonna survive. You know he does. So the point of Obi-Wan killing Grievous, I don't know. I felt like they could have made. I'll tangent this with another slight critique. I wish that they made Obi-Wan's, or like, because Commander Cody and like his Obi-Wan's troops, I wish they made their betrayal of him more impactful, you know? Because especially because Cody gave, like, what's his name, his lightsaber back. He clearly trusted the clones and stuff. I wish they did some scene where maybe Obi-Wan is fighting Grievous, okay? The clones arrive. But the clones get Order 66 before what's his name? Before he escaped Grievous. I mean, before he killed Grievous. Right. So it's kind of like this thing where it's like Grievous and Obi-Wan have to, like, they don't have to, like, team up. Well, because that would make sense. But, like, something where maybe Obi-Wan is, like, on the run from everyone, you know? Where it's not yet a Republic victory. But where, like, I think it'd be cool if like the clone troops would, like, surround Grievous or something, okay, and him, and they'd be like, fire or something. But then the clones would be like, well, our priority target is you, or something like that, you know? Because Obi-Wan really doesn't seem mystified or anything at all for why the clones are attacking him. He really doesn't seem like really even distressed at all. Because remember, he just gets shot off the cliff. With Boga by one of the AT-AT cannons, and then he just kind of falls in the water. Eventually, meets up with Bail and Yoda, but he doesn't really seem like torn up about it at all. You know what I'm saying?
Here would be my comment to that.
I mean, okay, not that the movie's that. I just think that a little.
No, I understand. I do agree. The thing I think they had. I mean, Grievous. Well, I think one, he represents the destruction of the droid army.
Yeah, fair enough. That they're okay. Yeah.
He's their last real commander, per se.
Other than because Dooku is dead, yeah.
Second off, I feel that Grievous. I mean, he's one of those characters that's kind of just there to be an agitator. The reason that Obi-Wan seeks out Grievous right on Utapau is essential to the plot because Obi-Wan has to go to Utapau
to be away from Anakin. Yeah, fair enough. Right? Mm-hmm.
And if Grievous didn't, they needed to, and the reason he needed to go to Utapau, I mean, Grievous was a big reason because Dooku was dead. They needed to kill him, obviously, for part of that Anakin turning to the dark side thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think Grievous is an important character in that regard. So, but also I think their confrontation is it's more so that it's just a fun action scene.
Yeah.
More than I mean, because to be honest, you could tell pretty much any story without a whole lot of action.
Well, okay, but
you can still convey the message.
I get that it's supposed to be like
their final duel is just meant to keep our interest.
I get that it's supposed to be like an action scene, like, yeah, you want to see what happens. But I think that scene is going to seem less like, okay, for example, CGI looks worse with age, but like the plastic models, that they used to use and stuff, just kind of look funnier with age. I'm just worried that scene is really going to drag down the movie. You see what I'm saying? Because it doesn't add too much to the plot.
If we did your scene where it's just like the clones and stuff, it'd still be the same thing.
But I think it would add a little more impact to like Obi-Wan being betrayed. Like it didn't seem to affect him at all. And I think that action scene, like, yeah, it's good action.
I see what you're saying.
But I think that like when you see the movie age, it's not going to be because of the plot, and it's not going to be because of the plot, I guess. It's going to be because of scenes like that, where it just seems like in the future, like in maybe 10 years, it'll seem completely unnecessary. But when it came out, it would have been like cool action,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think when I see episode 4 or 5, I just watched those two, and the action isn't as because the action, it still looks fairly good, but I mean, it's by no means fantastic. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's old. I mean, so I do agree with that. I mean, the action scenes become the least exciting of the worst part probably of watching the movie.
Because if it's that good, because you're either watching it because the action is so bad it looks good, but like CGI, when CGI looks bad, it's not like funny because it's so bad. It just looks bad, Well,
and it's like, but like 4 and 5, I will agree that the reason why they're still such strong movies is because the plots are very good, regardless of how the movie looks.
Well, yeah, like the plot and the characters. Like Padme sucks, but the plot of episode 3 is good.
Because I just think that, yeah, I'd agree with you on that. I think the Grievous scene, I wouldn't say it's unnecessary.
No, I think I agree. Okay, I'm not saying that. Okay, when the movie came out, I think that it would seem cool, but I think that as the movie ages, it'll seem unnecessary.
Right. All right. Yeah,
because of I don't think CGI is gonna be like fun to look at. Like watching the Hoth scene, from episode 5. Like that's it's because it's just like to see what they did back then. But I don't think people are gonna want to like.
I'd agree with you. I'd agree with you on that. No, yeah, I'd agree. So that is a weakness of 3. But other than that, I'd say most of 3's plot is pretty important to Star Wars as a whole.
I think the reason that some of the action. I think the reason that we find some of the action scenes like to be kind of slightly painful, or at least I do, as they get older, is I think because they don't add anything. Because when we watch episode 3, we're not watching it for like action scenes. Like that's why I would watch episode 2. Like I'm not watching episode 2. I'm not watching episode 2 for the plot. I think that
That's not bad.
But like in episode 3, like the buzz droid scene at the beginning, the just Grievous, not him killing Grievous or the plot point of him going to Grievous, but like the point of you get what I'm saying. Yeah, like the whole chase scene and stuff. I think that it's because we watch episode 3 for that plot that stuff seems to like stand out so much, because we're not watching it for like action, and that's why, at least to me, that those parts are boring because like we're not watching for that.
Argument, I feel like you could just take out any action you wanted, because I mean, action is not necessary to convey a story.
Okay.
Or to see the action necessarily. Look at the Hunger Games. My God, they didn't show any action throughout the entire film.
Okay, but like,
I guess what I'm saying is, by that logic, you could be like, I agree that the action does get dated and stuff, but when it first comes out, it's cool. And I think, and even then, when it gets older, it's not bad. But that's like saying, oh, and like, why don't we just take out the Battle of Hoth? Because we don't really need to see that. It's unnecessary how long it goes on, because it just ends up looking old. I mean, action adds intensity to the plot.
Okay.
So I don't think, you know what I mean?
I'll agree for some of it, but I think that, for example, episode 7, right? You like it. I'll agree that I agree that it's entertaining to watch, but the action in episode 7 doesn't feel as shoehorned in like it does in episode 3. Episode 3, the buzz droids.
Shoehorned
The buzz droid scene in the beginning of episode 3 is painful. That's not why I'm watching the movie. For episode, like, just because, and then in episode 3 again, when they're walking throughout the ship, to get to Palpatine, just because that they go through the ship, and because that they, like, have to kill droids to get there, doesn't mean we need to see it. That's like in episode 7, for example. Okay, but in episode 7, the fighters, like when their fighters are flying around and stuff, the X-Wings, they don't like they don't focus on that too much, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't put little plot points into the fighters too much. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like they have like a side plot of this whole buzz droid thing when it's like the beginning of episode 3. I love the beginning with like the song, the timpani or the bass drum, whatever it is, and then like I still can remember in my mind when the one scene like they're flying and out of the bottom of the Republic cruiser like just giant laser like destroys the bridge of the entire other ship. Like that part's sick. Cool. And the part when it's the two cruisers destroying each other, the flagship one, and it has like the cannons on both. When they go through the wreckage of the Republic cruiser. The cannons on both sides. And then the part where they're landing the ship, I like that part when they have to when Anakin's like reversing the thrusters and stuff. That stuff's cool, but it's cool because it's action for the sake of action. They don't try to shoehorn plot into it. Like, oh, there's the buzz droids and I have to save you, master. It's like, it's just action.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know how you distinguish that, though. I mean, I agree that the buzz droid scene is stupid. I don't like it. But I don't think you can argue that. I don't think they're trying to put plot into that.
Well,
I mean, I think they're just trying to have that. Or like when the droids are, I just think it's just there because it makes. I mean, to me, it makes sense that there's droids that they have to kill. And I mean, I think it's fine that they show it because it makes it more. It's the droids are funny.
Okay, I'll give you that.
They're comical.
But
and B, it makes sense that the buzz droids would hit Anakin or they hit Obi-Wan. Because they're flying through. I mean, for me, the action, it's not like it's just randomly interspersed or extremely violent. For me, I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm saying
I get what you're saying.
I feel like if you're aboard a separatist cruiser or if you're aboard an enemy ship, chances are you're gonna run into enemy people personnel.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But who cares about that scene when they're in the elevator and Anakin jumps out and Obi-Wan tells him to go down, but he really wants him to go up, And then Anakin does the flip. Why does that? But why does that need to be in there?
It's just entertaining. I mean, that's the point of it. I mean,
but
you could argue that point with anything. Like that. I mean, by that standard, you could.
But I don't think you can argue that action is cool. Like the action when they're, cool. When they're when they're flying around before they land on the cruiser. That part's cool. Like when it's just no talking, you can assume it's Anakin Obi-Wan, but you don't know.
Right.
And the other that part's cool when they're just flying around and just looking at the spectacle of the battle happening. I don't know. I just think that maybe they try to not spend too much time on the action, but try to give an excuse to have the action. I see what
you're saying.
You don't need to have this whole. But the problem with the buzz droid thing is that it's not even action really either.
No, I'm not saying that part. Hold on. Sorry, I dropped my phone. I'm not saying I like that part. I'm just saying that I think it's hard to say that this action, why do we have action? I mean, because if you think action's part of what makes a movie exciting. So I don't think putting it in there is a bad thing.
For me, action. The action I like, and this may just be me, it's when it makes me smile, come on, that's so sick. In episode 7, when they have the music playing and it's the Resistance and they're coming in low across the water. Come on, that part's awesome.
That's cool, I agree.
But in episode 7, when the laser comes out of the bottom of that ship and it just obliterates half of the other ship, that part is just sick. It's the buzz droid thing doesn't feel like it adds anything to the plot, and I don't feel like it doesn't feel that.
I don't like the buzz droid scene either.
It just doesn't feel like it's that sort of flashy, like the Grievous chase too. You know, like when Obi-Wan's battling Grievous, like that feels cool. You know, it's like this, like it's a flashy scene that just is there to look cool. The Grievous thing, it feels like they're trying to, I don't know, make it like a substantial part of the movie. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, here's what I would say. The whole point, part of the point of the episode 3 is to sever the ties between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, fair enough.
In order for them, remember, we've seen 1 and 2, but 1, they didn't really have that big of a relationship.
At least that we
2,
saw.
2, it was definitely bigger, but 2, they were apart for the majority of the movie.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan went to Geonosis and Anakin was killing all the sand people.
Anakin was on detail.
Genocide.
Because he really did his job so well. But yeah, what the heck? Anakin just murdered a whole tribe of children and women while he was gone.
And Padme didn't even care. She's like, "Oh, it's okay, Annie." We'll get to that when we talk about episode 2.
But either way, episode 3. The thing I think that was the reason why I think they have those action scenes at the beginning. Yes, it's still cool. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of the buzz droids, but that's such a minute detail. You know what I mean?
Okay, it's not.
I can live with that. It doesn't, like, for me, it's not like, oh my god, the buzz droid scene destroys the movie.
No, it just
I mean?
it doesn't. Okay, like when I'm watching episode 3, I get super engaged. You see those ships flying. Like I don't care about, you know, like when people say there's no ships below the ship, you know, whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I don't care about that. Like when they're flying over and then they go down, it's like the music. Like that part's cool, and then as soon as it starts this whole like buzz droid like tirade, it doesn't feel entertaining anymore. You know?
No, but I agree. The buzz droid scene is not great, but I mean, it's not that big a part of it. It's like, what, 5 minutes long?
No, but I think it's a symptom of a larger problem. Like it happens multiple times. Like, okay, the buzz droid scene. It just takes you out of it. The part where it's Obi-Wan and what's it called? Grievous, like not their, like the original fight is cool. It's like their second conflict when they're like riding along next to each other, and like their final battle that gets kind of draggy. What's that part? Yoda's battle with Palpatine is okay, but that part, it's just there's just a couple scenes in there where it just feels like it just takes you out of it, you know?
See, here's where I disagree.
Tell me, Doug. Tell me.
All right, here I'll comment on the action as a whole, and then
lay it out for me.
All right, so at the beginning, when Anakin and Obi-Wan are in the ship, the reason I think the action is necessary there is because, as I was saying before, their relationship, you can definitely tell there's a strong bond between the two. But
yeah,
they're apart. Episode 1, I mean, Qui-Gon's more of the mentor there, and episode 2, I mean, they definitely do have that, which I think is very impressive on whoever made the movies. Even though they're not around each other a whole lot, they sure seem like they're best friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they did a good job with that because they're not around each other. So I think 3, though, 3's focus is on Anakin's fall to the dark side, and I think the reason why they have those scenes at the beginning, because most of this movie they're apart again too. Because Obi-Wan does this, and Anakin goes over here and does something that he probably shouldn't be doing. But I mean,
yeah.
The reason I think it's important to have that is to see them in battle together, because it builds up that camaraderie that they have, and it strengthens our tie to their relationship. Because
okay,
sure, I don't like Anakin, but it's not like I love Obi-Wan, and the last thing I want to happen is for his like apprentice to turn against him and try to kill him, and that's what ends up happening. And so I think that's the reason for that scene. In terms of Grievous, you know, sure, it's a little, you know, flashy and stuff, but at the same point, I think the movie could really take a blow if Grievous wasn't in there. Keep in mind that while this Grievous thing is happening, Anakin's not doing a whole lot back on the home front. He does towards the end of their conflict, but for a while he's just kind of there. And I think just the Grievous fight just makes the movie. I think first off, it serves as a relief to kind of the lull that is Anakin, and then once things start picking up on Coruscant, the fight starts happening with Palpatine and the Jedi, then I think it serves as kind of like a breather scene. Because, I mean, it's pretty intense, the Palpatine Mace fight and Anakin. So I think it does serve as like a scene where you can kind of like breathe and just enjoy. And that's why. So I don't think the action, I think if you generalize, if you say that action is just happening for the sake of action, I think that's true with any movie. I think they just, I mean, they do it because it's fun to watch.
No, and I agree that the action is for the sake of action, but I feel like the Grievous fight. Well, okay, I like like some good action scenes, you know, like an episode like
complete action.
No, but in Grievous, and what's it? Because I can forgive, you know, like the Buzz
Mustards.
Yeah, yes, it gives him the. I would have wished that maybe in that scene they kind of changed, instead of Obi-Wan being so unwilling to what Anakin's doing, you know, maybe he just like said like, you know, like, oh, well, you always get good results or something like that. But I agree that it does show that. The problem with the Grievous scene is I feel like it just Episode 3 really isn't too much of an action movie. Or at least that's not why you watch it. Which is why, like, I'm watching it for, like, those few key scenes, you know? Like, okay, here's an example. Here's an example right here. Episode 3 is like Episode 7, okay? I'm watching them for, like, the small arms action. Like, the lightsaber fights, okay? Or like, the interactions between characters. But then there are those few scenes, like, when the Resistance Wax-Wings are coming across the water, or the final battle in Episode 7 a little bit, in Episode 3, the very beginning, or Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight, like, those fights are cool, but that's not why I'm watching the movie. Like, I'm not watching the movie to see Obi-Wan race Grievous down, like, the side of a cliff. An example where I am watching that is Avatar. Like, not the cartoon or the Last Airbender, like Avatar Blue People. That movie I entirely watch for the action. I watch it for the last 45 minutes of that, like, 3-hour movie are just the giant dragons fighting helicopters, and I love it. And that's a movie where I'm watching it solely for the action. Like, that's why I'm watching the movie. For Episode 3, I think that the extended action...
There's more to it. No, I know.
But, I mean, overall, it's a good movie. I'm not going to say it's not a good movie. And it's fun to watch.
No, yeah, I didn't really have too many. I mean, I understand what you're saying about the action. I mean, in terms of my problems with Episode 3, I don't think I really have any. I mean, I think what's very impressive about I think Lucas directed the newest that he did, about what Lucas did, and they made the relationships between the people in the movies strong enough so when it all went downhill, it really sucked to watch.
I mean...
And I thought that was impressive. Like I was saying earlier, Obi-Wan and Anakin, Padme and Anakin, you know, the Jedi just as a whole, as a unit. I mean, you kind of have this... I mean, it's hard to watch. All of them get destroyed and stuff. Or not hard to watch, but it's intense.
I mean, we rag on
That's what I love about Episode 3.
Like, I rag on the movie, you don't as much, but, I mean, we like the movie. I mean, we wouldn't, like, we kind of take it for a given that it's a good movie, and then we just focus on the bad parts, you know?
No, yeah, no.
Because, like, it's a great movie. It's just that,
No, I'm shocked. I don't understand why people don't... I'm not a huge fan of it. I guess most people like Episode 3. I mean, it got... but only a 79%. I feel like it should have, like, a 90. I thought it was, like, one of the best movies ever.
I wonder what... I bet you Episode 5. Everybody loves Episode 5.
I don't understand that, and that won't be a tale for another day.
Well, that's gonna be... That's gonna be a while.
Yeah, but when it comes. Yeah, Episode 3 overall, I just feel like... I don't know, I thought... You know, I think it just has... The thing that's interesting to me about Episode 3, or one of the things, and we were talking about this a little earlier, is there's a lot of, like... Maybe I'm just overanalyzing it or whatever. Thanks, English class, but, like... I feel like there's just, like, these hidden little things in it that make it, like, such a cool, interesting movie to, like, watch. Like, we were talking about this Obi-Wan and Anakin when they have their fight at the end, which is I think that's a great scene when they have their confrontation. Um, Not as much as their fight, but I think what's more powerful than their fighting is when Obi-Wan walks out of the ship and they like have exchanged their words, before they fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great scene, but that's my favorite scene in the movie. But I think that the thing that I have to say about like that is, the whole Jedi Anakin. The reason he lost his way is because he was too attached. Is the problem? And I think the cool part is if you look at it, Obi-Wan, what I think makes him such a great Jedi is his ability to reject attachment. Because Anakin, the whole reason he falls down is because he is attached to his wife. But then Obi-Wan, at the end of the movie, he's able to reject, because he says, "I loved you like a brother, Anakin."
He was attached, yeah.
He was attached to him, but he was able to kill him because it was, or severely wound him because it was necessary. And I think that's cool because it's a small point, but I think it just shows it's cool because if you look at that, it's like, wow, that just goes to show why Obi-Wan is such a good Jedi. You look at it that way, so that was cool.
Yeah. Overall, Overall, it was.
Just my favorite line from the movie is when Obi-Wan is just like, and I was just thinking about this when I was watching the Republican debate, the newest one. And I'm probably more Republican than Democrat, but I cannot stand the candidates.
Trump 2014.
Most of them are just idiots.
2016. Jesus Christ.
But, oh my God, I think they're just dumb. And so many of them are bent on, taking away, freedoms. Like, Donald Trump wants to shut down parts of the internet.
I can't even do that.
I know. Well, so here's what I'd say. Well, like Facebook and stuff, probably. But the one of the best lines Anakin goes like, I forget what
it was the one where if you're not with me, you're against me. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, if you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Trump, no Muslims allowed.
I also love the line where he's just like, you betray me. He's like, Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy. I love that line.
It's like talking to Ben Carson.
Donald Trump, God. I know, I love that line. It's just, those are some great one-liners that make the movie just so much better.
Yeah. Overall, I guess we'll. Yeah, so that was 3. Yeah. That was episode 3. We'll episode 1 next time.
Yeah, we'll move to episode 1 last time, the fodder episode apparently. But
and then
real quick, I'd just like to say that episode 3, Alec, you should pick a favorite throughout here. I think you should pick one too. I will say right off the bat, episode 3 is my favorite of the movies. I think it's the best one, most well done.
Fair enough. Well, we can always make one of these. We can make an episode at the end where we all go through and just number them.
Yeah, we rank them. As of now, this is my number 1 ranking.
This is probably my 2. I'm expecting. One.
Episode 5. I hate episode 5.
No, it's not gonna be 5. It's not gonna be 5 or 2. Episode 1, I think I could because it's so stupid. It's fun. I'm probably gonna be 4. Episode 4, episode 6, because I could see me liking 6.
Yeah, so we'll get back to you guys about that in a week.
Yeah.
But did you want to move on to Battlefront quickly?
I don't think we really need to. We've talked for a while.
Alright, well then let's do our sign-off. So, let's go back in.
Alright, well we'll see you guys next time.
Make sure to comment and
tell us what you guys thought.
Thoughts on episode 3. Make your predictions for.
Write a hate comment if you dislike us. Okay, don't.
This is kind of a talk today, contrary to what you usually believe. So.
Okay, you say you don't like action, and you love the part when the Resistance fighters. I love Pacific Rim. Okay, Pacific Rim.
Avatar, those movies that are sole action.
Okay, but it's not just the action.
It's cool when it's the movie still has a good plot, but they have action too.
But when there's those 6 scenes, when the fleet of dragon things are coming in Avatar, and it's got the music, it has to be a complete scene. Grievous, it just has them running and punching each other.
We are closing this debate.
No, there's okay, Pacific Rim. The song from Pacific Rim when they're like when whatever the main thing is, Gypsy Danger, I think, and like the when the one with the wings, the kaiju with the wings, when they're like walking down towards each other. Okay, dog.
All right. Well, either way, comment on which movie you think he'll like the best. I've already cast my vote.
Pacific Rim is the best.
Your
Okay.
favorite movies, and yeah, let us know your thoughts about episode 3. And,
All right. We'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys next time.